Hello everyone, the Snowman here, and I'm very excited today as the Wimbledon draw came out recently for both the men and the women. In this video, I'm going to preview the men's draw. Please check out the women's preview as well. But Wimbledon, of course, the third Grand Slam of the year, and there's a lot of big storylines, so let's get to it. Take a look at this draw. So as we pull up section 1 here of the men's singles draw, just know one big name is missing from this tournament. That's going to be Juan Martín del Potro, who did pick up a knee injury a couple of weeks ago, so he is out. Also, Andy Murray is not playing in the singles competition. He will be, though, at Wimbledon playing doubles with the Frenchman Pierre-Yves Herbert. So those guys not in the main draw for singles, but we do have the number 1 seed, Novak Djokovic. And the last time we saw the Serb, he was losing an epic 2-day semifinal at the French Open to Dominic Thiem. I'd call Novak the healthy favorite. He's been pretty consistent all season long despite not playing too many tournaments. Big titles, though, in Melbourne and Madrid. His first-round opponent here, Philipp Kohlschreiber, actually has already beaten him this season. And well, the important thing for Djokovic, though, Roger and Rafa both on the other side of this draw, so Djokovic definitely going to like that. The other big name he has to deal with in this first section, though, is going to be Stefanos Tsitsipas, who actually has the most wins on the men's tour this season, 34-14 record. And he was part of the match of the tournament at the French Open when Tsitsipas played against Stan Wawrinka, lost to him in a marathon match, 6-8 in the 5th set. A match Tsitsipas really had so many chances to win, but for the young Greek player, he's a guy who's constantly been working on moving up to the net more, and that's going to bode well on the grass if he can up the level of aggression in his game, I feel. We also have the 19 seed Felix Auger-Aliassime, who has gone from 108 to 21 in the rankings this season. 31 wins already for him, so not too far off the leader Tsitsipas there. But Auger-Aliassime could be a dark horse. The 18-year-old Canadian had a sparkling victory over Kyrgios just last week at Queen's Club, so he's got a complete game on all 3 surfaces. It's just very well-rounded for a player so young, I feel. We've also got David Goffin, the 21-seeded Belgian, who's going to be very confident coming off a final appearance in Halle. And how about Feliciano Lopez? 37-year-old vet, just experienced a magical week in London at Queen's Club. He won not just the singles title, but the doubles title as well when he partnered with Andy Murray. And actually, because of rain, Lopez had to play 3 matches in one day at Queen's Club, but somehow his body held up. He got through it, and his rank just in the last week went from 113 to 53. So Lopez is back. It's going to be good to see the lefty forehand of the Spaniard in London. As we turn to section 2 now of Wimbledon, this is the open section. There is no members of the big 3, no Djokovic, no Rafa, no Federer. So we do have the 4 seed. Wimbledon does their seeding a little bit differently. It's not based on the actual ATP rankings. They have their own kind of grass coefficient. So Kevin Anderson getting the nod here for the 4 seed because of his success making the Wimbledon final last year. And for Anderson, he has been limited this year with an elbow injury. Just 1 tournament since Miami in March. But last year, it was a great run for Anderson at Wimbledon. 2 epic wins to reach the final. He came from 2 sets to love down against Roger Federer in the quarterfinals. Won that in the 5th set, 13-11. And then he outlasted John Isner 26-24 in the 5th set. That kind of prompted Wimbledon and the other Grand Slams to change up their tiebreaker rules. Now, if you didn't know, Wimbledon will play a final set tiebreaker at 12-12. So there will be no more 26-24 score lines. I'm sure Anderson will appreciate that. But he lost to Joker in the final, but with the huge serve and the powerful ground strokes, the 6'8" South African's gonna like his chances to make another deep run this year. We also see the 6-seeded German Alexander Zverev, who's never been to the semifinals of a major. The 22-seed Stan Wawrinka, Wimbledon the only Grand Slam that Stan has never won. And a player who I believe is lurking here, Milos Raonic. He's just kind of hiding in this draw, but I don't think any of the big players want to see Raonic. He loves Wimbledon, made the final in 2016, kind of saves his body for the big tournaments now. He's a player who, if he's not feeling great, he will walk over. He won't play if he's not feeling it, so does not play a heavy schedule. But he's going to be charged up and ready to go, saves himself for the big tournaments, and I could see a long run for Raonic. This draw shakes out so nice for him. He's not in a quarter with the big 3, and he would actually be my pick in this section to make the semifinals as the 15 seed. Section number 3 then, all about the number 3 seed, Rafael Nadal, who's on a 12-match winning streak at the moment. thanks to his 12th title at Roland Garros last month. Just incredible for the King of Clay, how easily he breezed through that tournament. And he wasn't too shabby in London last year at Wimbledon. On his route to the semifinals, played in one of the most well-played tennis matches I've ever watched last year. That semifinal at Wimbledon against Novak Djokovic. Just two legends of the game. Virtuoso tennis for 5-6 hours, going back and forth, 5 sets, 2 days. It was incredible, high-level tennis. So Rafa's going to love that he's healthy. He's got a great shot here as well, but it is a tough and challenging mini section for the Spaniard. He could be up against the wild card Nick Kyrgios in the second round if Kyrgios gets by fellow Aussie Jordan Thompson in the first round. And we know Kyrgios always likes to bring it against the biggest names in the sport. Kyrgios already has a win over Nadal this year in Acapulco, a title that Kyrgios won. Could also be the young Canadian Denis Shapovalov in the third round for Rafa, and that could be troublesome. Shapo's game, very suited for grass, a very offensive, aggressive style player with a big forehand. And then I like Marin Cilic as a floater in this section. Cilic, a guy who's always loved playing at Wimbledon as well. He would play Rafa in the round of 16, and Cilic, he's been great on grass, though his peppering ground strokes can give Nadal some trouble as well. We've also got in this section, I don't think there's a ton of great first-round matches on this men's draw for Wimbledon, but we do have a good one. Dominic Thiem versus Sam Querrey, and I'm going to go on the record here. Thiem, Wimbledon has been his worst major by far, 5-5 all-time in London. Thiem, obviously he prefers the much more grueling physical rallies on clay. I think Big Sam is going to pull off this upset, though. Defeat Dominic Thiem in the first round. We know he knocked off Novak Djokovic in 2016 when Joker held all 4 Grand Slams at the time. Querrey's done it before. His form has kind of been up and down the last couple of years. But I think if we do see a big upset, one of the top 8 seeds on the men's side falling, it will be Querrey knocking off Dominic Thiem. And then finally in Section 4, Roger Federer, the 2 seed at the bottom there. Who knows, could be one of his last great shots to win another major, though. Wimbledon will always be his best shot, and Fed is loving his game on the grass right now. Just won his 10th title in Halle last week, his 102nd career title. Just the serve, the net game, though, the slice backhand, all in fantastic form for Fed. Everything is working nicely. He'll fancy his chances mightily to win, his 9th ever Wimbledon, his 21st career major. And I think this is a really good draw for Fed. Definitely better than Rafa's. Maybe not as good as Djokovic's, but could be Borna Coric in the 4th round. That would be tough. Coric beat Fed in the Halle final last year, so he's had some success. They also played a great match at Indian Wells in 2018. I don't love the possibility of Fed playing Coric, but the other big names in this draw are not that strong right now. I mean, Kei Nishikori, not the best player on grass, and you've got John Isner, the 9 seed, who he's had some health issues. Actually, his last match against Roger Federer in Miami, hasn't played since then when he picked up a stress fracture in his foot. And he's been on the mend, but he's defending semifinal points from last year, John Isner is. So he's going to need to show out. We know Isner's game is tailor-made for the grass. The mammoth serve, the piercing forehand. He'll love, like Kevin Anderson, that the tiebreaker rule has been changed to 12-12 in the 5th set. But nonetheless, it's going to be a big task for Isner to knock off Federer. And then one other player I wanted to mention in this 4th section, young Italian Matteo Berrettini, who's a hot player in form. Picked up a title on grass at the Mercedes Cup in Stuttgart and semifinals in Halle as well. So he's definitely a young player on the rise. Please let me know who you think will do well at Wimbledon, which player you fancy to lift the trophy. Thank you so much, though, for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media. Give me a thumbs up, and thank you so much. I'll be back very soon. Cheers.